At just 18 years old, Estêvão is already doing what most players spend an entire career trying to achieve, changing the way a giant club attacks. In a Chelsea team full of expensive signings and experienced names, it is a Brazilian teenager who is stealing the spotlight. His dribbles, his fearlessness, and his instant impact have forced defenders, coaches, and analysts across Europe to take notice. This is not hype, not patience, not potential. This is influence. And the question is no longer if Estêvão will become special, but how far this rise can really go. Estêvão's journey to Stamford Bridge did not begin with hype in Europe. It began in Brazil, wearing the colors of Palmeiras, where his talent was impossible to ignore. From his first professional touches, it was clear that this was not just another promising winger. His confidence on the ball, his ability to decide games, and his maturity at such a young age placed him in a different category. Chelsea understood this early. While many clubs prefer to wait, observe, and hesitate, Chelsea chose to move fast, betting on potential before the price became unreachable. Arriving in England at just 18 years old, Estêvão brought more than skill. He arrived carrying expectation. Not only the weight of a major Premier League club, but the burden that follows every Brazilian teenager labeled as the next one. New country, new language, a faster league, and a level of pressure few players his age ever experience. Yet instead of shrinking, he embraced it. From his first appearances, it became clear that Chelsea didn't sign a project for the future. They signed a player ready to matter now. And before we go any further, if you enjoy deep stories about football's brightest talents and rising stars, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments as well. Do you believe Estêvão can become Chelsea's next true superstar? The football world truly took notice when the CIES Football Observatory released its latest valuation study, and Estêvão's name sat at the very top among Brazilian players. According to the data, the Chelsea winger is now valued between $110 and $128 million, a figure that places him ahead of names like Endrick and Vitor Roque, and even among the most valuable players in global football. At just 18 years old, that number alone sends a powerful message. But this valuation is not built on hype or social media noise. The CIES model takes into account performance data, age, contract length, positional value, market demand, and the financial strength of potential buyers. In other words, this isn't about what a club wants to pay, it's about what the market realistically would pay. And the fact that Estêvão already reaches this range says something rare. Clubs don't see him as a future star anymore. They see him as an asset ready to define games at the highest level. Being ranked above other elite Brazilian prospects also changes the narrative around him. This is no longer a story of promise or patience. A valuation above $100 million places Estêvão in a category reserved for players expected to decide Champions League ties, lead attacks, and carry responsibility in decisive moments. It also explains why Chelsea moved early. Waiting another season could have meant competing with Europe's richest clubs at an entirely different price. Ultimately, this valuation reflects more than money. It reflects trust. Trust that Estêvão's impact is real, that his adaptation is sustainable, and that his ceiling is not theoretical. In modern football, numbers often exaggerate. In this case, they underline a simple truth. Estêvão is no longer chasing the elite. He is already being measured alongside them. When Estêvão arrived at Chelsea FC, the expectation was talent, not immediate influence. But within just a few months, that narrative changed completely. What began as cautious appearances quickly turned into decisive moments. Goals in crucial matches, assists that broke defensive lines, and fearless performances against elite opponents transformed him from a young signing into a genuine difference-maker. One of the clearest signals came on the biggest stage of all, the UEFA Champions League. While many teenagers struggle with the pace and pressure of European nights, Estêvão embraced them, scoring in back-to-back starts, stepping up to take responsibility, and playing with a calmness far beyond his age. He announced himself to a global audience. These were not late cameos or meaningless goals. They were moments that shifted momentum and confidence inside the team. Domestically, the impact has been just as clear. Estêvão's ability to beat defenders one-on-one, cut inside with purpose, and create shooting angles has made him Chelsea's most unpredictable attacking threat. Defenders retreat. Midfields adjust. Entire defensive structures bend toward his side of the pitch. In multiple matches, Chelsea's most dangerous phases begin the moment the ball reaches his feet. What truly separates him, however, is timing. His goals arrive when the team needs them most. His assists come not from hopeful crosses, but from actions that destabilize compact defenses. In a squad filled with experienced internationals and high-profile signings, it is remarkable that an 18-year-old consistently ranks at the top for chances created, dribbles completed, and touches in the opposition box. In just a few months, Estêvão has crossed an invisible line. He is no longer a player being protected or developed quietly. He is being trusted, and at Chelsea, trust is only given to those who can decide matches. Under Enzo Maresca, Estêvão is not used as a traditional touchline winger. Instead, Chelsea's tactical structure turns him into an inverted weapon, a right-sided attacker whose real danger begins the moment he moves inside. On paper, he starts wide. In reality, his positioning is fluid, intelligent, and designed to destabilize. Defensive blocks. Maresca's positional system relies on spacing, timing, and numerical superiority in key zones, especially in the right half space. This is where Estêvão thrives. By receiving the ball on the right and cutting inside onto his stronger left foot, he immediately forces defenders into uncomfortable decisions. Step out and risk being beaten, or hold position, and allow him to combine centrally. Either choice benefits Chelsea. What separates Estêvão from many young dribblers is control. His dribbling is not chaotic or exhibitionist. He doesn't dribble for applause. He dribbles to break structure. Each carry has intent: to attract pressure, to shift the defensive line, to open a passing lane, or to create a shooting angle. This is why his actions often lead directly to chances rather than dead ends. Tactically, his movement creates overloads on the right side. As Estêvão drifts inward, he draws fullbacks and midfielders with him, freeing space for overlapping runs. Behind him. At the same time, his positioning allows Chelsea to build triangles between the right back, central midfielder, and himself, increasing passing options and tempo. Defenses are constantly forced to adjust, and that constant adjustment breeds mistakes. Perhaps most importantly, Estêvão gives Chelsea unpredictability. In a league where defensive organization is relentless, having a player who can change angles, accelerate in tight spaces, and improvise within a structured system is invaluable. Under Maresca, Estêvão is not learning freedom. He is learning how to be dangerous within control. And that balance is exactly what makes him so hard to stop. What truly sets Estêvão apart is not just talent, but efficiency. His dribbling numbers stand out because they are purposeful. He completes a high volume of take-ons, but more importantly, they lead somewhere. Into the box, into shooting positions, or into space for teammates. This efficiency is rare in young attackers, especially in the Premier League, where reckless dribbling is often punished immediately. Creativity is another defining strength. Estêvão does not see passing as a secondary option. Whether cutting inside or driving at defenders, he consistently scans for runners and central overloads. His ability to combine XG and XA output at such a young age shows that he already understands decision-making in the final third. He is not only creating chaos, he is creating value. Mentally, Estêvão may be even more impressive. He plays with visible courage. Missed chances and failed dribbles do not reduce his willingness to receive the ball again. This resilience is essential for a player whose role demands risk. Few 18-year-olds show this level of confidence in high-pressure environments, let alone on Champions League nights or against elite Premier League defenses. However, long-term dominance in England demands evolution. Defensively, Estêvão is still developing. His pressing intensity, tracking back, and positional discipline off the ball are areas that will need refinement. Premier League systems punish wide players who fail to contribute defensively. and consistency in these phases will be critical to earning sustained trust. Decision-making in the final moments is another frontier. At times, Estêvão can attempt one dribble too many or choose a difficult shot instead of a simpler pass. These choices are not flaws. They are signs of youth. With experience, coaching, and repetition, they tend to sharpen rather than disappear. Physically, adaptation will be ongoing. The league demands strength, durability, and recovery. Chelsea will manage his workload carefully, ensuring development without burnout. If these areas evolve alongside his natural gifts, Estêvão's curve points clearly upward. The tools are already there. Now it is about refinement, consistency, and time. The question surrounding Estêvão is no longer about potential. It is about direction. Everything in his early Chelsea journey points toward a player capable of becoming a franchise figure, someone an entire attack can be built around. His profile fits the modern elite winger: creative, decisive, tactically intelligent, and fearless in big moments. If his development continues on its current path, a realistic ceiling places him among the most influential attackers in the Premier League within the next few seasons. In the short term, Estêvão's role will likely grow in responsibility rather than minutes alone. Expect more decisive touches, more freedom in key zones, and a deeper trust from the coaching staff in high-stakes matches. Long-term, he has the tools to become Chelsea's primary creator on the right, a player defenses plan entire game models around. For Brazilian football, his rise also represents a generational shift, proof that young South American talent can arrive in Europe and lead immediately, not years later. Estêvão's story is still being written, but the early chapters already feel significant. This is not just the emergence of another exciting player. It is the arrival of a new reference point for Chelsea, for Brazil, and for the next generation watching from afar. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. And don't stop here. The next video is already on your screen, waiting to continue the journey.